Now, coming off of those massive 3 points we've just gotten against Spurs in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, a lot of different Arsenal fans have a lot of different opinions about who their man of the match is, and well, none of them are wrong. I thought overall it was a good team performance. A lot of people say Gabriel is the man of the match, being that he got the goal, but not only that, because Saliba had a yellow card, Gabriel had to pick up a lot of the slack and a lot of the marking on Dominic Solanke, which he did very well. A lot of people say Leandro Trossard did very well, Havertz did very well. There are tons of people that say Saka might be the man of the match. Whatever the case is, for me, the man of the match from that game was Jurrien Timber. I said it in my post-match reaction. Go check that out if you haven't already. But Jurrien Timber was outstanding against Spurs. Jurrien did not only play a vital role in helping us keep a clean sheet, which is the reason we got the 3 points, obviously, but Jurrien Timber on the ball provided so much to us. He provided so many intangibles to the team. His energy, his composure, his conviction on the ball, off the ball, defensively, it is second to none. And overall, at 23 years old, I can't believe Jurrien Timber is still only 23. He seems, the way he plays, like a 28-year-old vet, but he was so good, so experienced in the way he played, and his defending was first class. So today's video, we'll be talking about the performance we've just seen from Jurrien Timber, why I think he's the man of the match, and why I think this should nail him down as the starting left back for the rest of the season. So what's going on, everyone? You are listening to Gunner Central here. I hope you're all doing well. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Now, one thing that must be remembered when we talk about Jurrien Timber is that he is coming back from an ACL injury, an injury that took him out of his whole first season with Arsenal. He's only played 7 games for Arsenal ever. It's felt like he's been here for much longer than that, but he's only played 7 games for Arsenal. So him coming back from a huge ACL injury, he is now being asked to play at left back, a position he's definitely able to play. He's proven it at Ajax, but the last time he was registered to have played at left back for Ajax was in 2019 for Ajax's under-21 team. Throughout his whole professional career with Ajax, he was either a starting right back or a starting centre back. He was mainly a centre back, but he did have games at right back. He had never been registered to have played left back for Ajax's professional team. So he's coming off a huge ACL injury, joining an Arsenal team in a very different league, a very different style of playing to Ajax, and now he's being asked to play a different position, a position he has never played or at least registered to have played in professional club football. So there is still a lot we are asking of Jurrien Timber, and to come join this Arsenal team that is competing for a Premier League title, or at least trying to compete for a Premier League title. So all of that in mind, not even talk about the Spurs game just yet. If you look at all the other games he's already played this season, I thought Timber was very solid in his 21 minutes against Wolves. I thought he had a good 18 minutes against Brighton. But to me, the Villa game and the Spurs game is where he showed his class. Both them being away games, he was so solid defensively, fundamentally sound, never really making too many errors, and just again providing so much composure to this Arsenal team and this Arsenal defense if we didn't have it already from our centre-backs and Ben White and David Raya. So with everything in mind, him being a new sign and everything in mind, he's come in and he's played some really positive minutes for us. And last night, well, he was superb to say the least. Last night he had 52% accurate passes, which doesn't really tell the story of how good he was on the ball. He had 3 touches in the opposition box, 49 touches in general. He had a massive 4 passes into the final third. But to me, I could say all these things of how good Jurrien Timber was on the ball. Off the ball is where he made his money last night. He won 2 tackles, got 1 block, 3 clearances, 1 headed clearance, 1 interception, 10 defensive actions, 5 recoveries, 1 dribble pass only the whole game, 4 duels won. And I know statistically all of that looks like a pretty decent game, not a game that I'm making it out to be, but what he brought, again, the intangibles is a huge part of how he played. Obviously, we think back to that huge moment when Vicario got a yellow and Timber got a yellow. First of all, I don't think that was really a foul from Jurrien Timber at all. I know some people saying it's a red, where some are saying it's not a foul at all. I don't think it's a foul. I don't see how. Jurrien Timber goes in strong in the challenge and he rolls over the ball, but he's not intentionally leading with the studs or anything, so I don't see how it's a foul or even a card. And it was right for Vicario to only get a yellow because Vicario started the incident, but I'll give Timber some credit. I know there's gonna be no fights, but 23 years old, away from home, in the away stadium, in a North London derby, the keeper approaches you. A lot of people could just kind of fold, and Timber stood on business, so I give him that. And that incident, no doubt, fired up the team a little bit. So on top of having a really high-level defensive performance, pocked in Brennan Johnson, making a huge block on that Brennan Johnson shot. Jurrien Timber brought so many intangibles. Every time he had the ball, I felt so calm with him on the ball. And because there was no Odegaard in this team, it was huge that we relied on a lot of different players to make some good passes into the final third, and while again Jurrien Timber made 4 passes into the final third. This Spurs game wasn't by no means an attacking masterclass, but defensively I thought we were extremely solid, and to me Jurrien Timber was the main reason we were so good defensively. And just so you know how good Timber has been, when a new signing comes and joins Arsenal, we always scream to see that signing starting game, and Calafiori is that signing. Yet people aren't screaming for him to start games. I know he couldn't play against Spurs, but people aren't screaming for him to start games because Jurrien Timber has been so solid as a starting left back. And if all of these performances that he's already had for Arsenal so far this season, if those weren't evident enough that he needs to stay our starting left back, well then surely the solid performance against Spurs can change your mind. Timber brings something that not a lot of players have. Timber is almost as good as Zinchenko on the ball, but he is so much better defensively than Zinchenko. Timber is a better player than Kiwior. He's probably more suited to play left back than Ricardo Calafiori is. And to me, Jurrien Timber is our starting left back, and by miles, he should stay that way. I know a lot of people have a lot of different man of the matches, but for me, everything considered, Jurrien Timber has to be my man of the match. Now it's on to Italy to play Atalanta in the Champions League.